Good morning. Good to talk with you all again this week. I want to thank everyone who worshiped with us last Sunday, either in person or online. What a blessing. What a blessing. And I'm hoping that you've taken to heart some of the challenges I made, like asking yourself every morning waking up and saying to the Lord, "Here I am, Lord, use me or send me." And then take time throughout the day, at the end of the day, and look back and see where God has used you and where you have been a blessing and where you have been blessed. So I pray that you put that into practice this week and you're experiencing some great experiences in serving the Lord in this week. As we approach Sunday, I want to share with you a story and to talk about what this coming Sunday is about. Well, 10 days after the attack on Pearl Harbor, a group of citizens in North Platte, Nebraska, heard a rumor that soldiers from their town, part of the Nebraska National Guard, Company D, would be coming through on a troop train on their way to the West Coast. 500 people showed up at the train depot with food and cigarettes and letters and love and to give to their boys as they went on to serve their nation. Well, when the train showed up, it was not the Nebraska National Guard, Company D, that were on board. It was the soldiers from Kansas National Guard, Company D. Well, after a few awkward moments, a woman handed a young man she had never seen the gift intended for her own son. Everyone else followed that lead, and there were hugs and prayers and love shared all around. It was a spontaneous act of genuine devotion that touched both the soldiers and the people who came to the depot that day. That alone would have been a beautiful illustration of the willingness to sacrifice for one another. But the story continued. A few days later, a 26-year-old woman named Ray Wilson wrote a letter to the editor of the local paper recounting the profound experience they'd shared that night. She then suggested the town organize a canteen so they could do something similar for every troop train that came through. And she offered to lead the efforts as a volunteer. Well, for the next 4.5 years, the people of North Platte and the surrounding communities met every troop train that came through their town. Every day, they prepared sandwiches and cookies, cold drinks, hot coffee, you name it. They had baskets of magazines and books to give away to the soldiers and snacks for the train. There were even birthday cakes for everyone having a birthday or a special day. And they did this some days for as many, as 8,000 soldiers and sailors. The statistics are staggering. By the time the last train arrived on April 1st, 1946, 6 million, hear that? 6 million soldiers had been blessed by the North Platte Canteen. 45,000, hear that? 45,000 volunteers had served faithfully until the war was over and most of the troops had been transported home. Most of the troops had only 10 minutes. They only had 10 minutes to sprint from the train, grab some food, maybe dance with a pretty girl, hear the appreciation of those present, and sprint back to the train before it left without them. But in those 10 minutes, they got more than a meal. They received a dose of unconditional love that they remembered later during the heat of battle as well as decades after the war was over. Bob Greene, whose book Once Upon a Town made the North Platte Canteen story known to the world, wrote that as he interviewed those few surviving soldiers who had experienced the canteen firsthand, there was a universal reaction from the men, who were at that time probably 70 and 80 years old. He said they cried. You see, These town folks, these people in North Platte, heard a rumor, and they responded to the rumor. They were going because they wanted to see their boys, their children, before they went off for their nation. But in doing that, and it wasn't what they expected, it wasn't their troops, it wasn't their boys, they became a blessing. They came to know what it meant to serve and to live with a purpose. Well, this Sunday, we're going to be looking at the scripture where, Zacchaeus is looking for Jesus. He had heard the rumors, and he went looking. And because he responded, his life was changed. So we're going to look at that this week. I hope you can be with us in person or online, but we want to worship with you. And I give God thanks for you and pray that God bless you the rest of this week. Continue to ask the Lord to use you. Again, here I am, Lord. Use me. God bless you, and I'll see you on Sunday.